Where are you from?
I'm originally from South Carolina, you know what I'm saying, Orangeburg County, a little small town called Utahville, but I live in North Carolina, so I don't really distinguish myself from no parts, just strictly from the Carolinas, because I grew up in South Carolina, but I live in North Carolina.
What part of North Carolina?
I stay on the outskirts of Charlotte, not necessarily in Charlotte, but the outskirts.
And how old were you when you made that move?
Man, I don't know, man. This was like 2010. I moved out to Charlotte 2010.
Why?
My mother, you know what I'm saying, she forced us up there. We was getting into so much drama. And back then we ain't had no cars, you know what I'm saying? So she was like, this one summer she was like, let me bring y'all out to Charlotte and y'all stay out here for 2 weeks. And then when we stayed out there for 2 weeks, when it was time to go back to South Carolina, she already had all our bags packed. You know what I'm saying? And we young, we ain't got no cars, so it's like we just was stuck. Man, she enrolled us in school, everything. And ever since then, you know, we done had kids, we done got caught up in the system, so we just adapted.
When you say you got caught up with the system, you had to do prison time?
Nah, not prison time, but I caught some charges, you know, 2013. I got locked up for some armed robbery charges and can't really talk about them. Cases still pending.
Oh, okay.
4 years, you know. It's been going on for 4 years now. Open cases still pending.
Now, what was it like for you growing up in South Carolina, North Carolina? Paint the picture for us.
South Carolina, it wasn't really too hard. You know, a lot of people say they had it rough coming up, but we had aunts' houses we could stay to. We had grandfathers, we had grandmothers, so it wasn't too hard. My grandma tried to keep us in the church, you know, but you still stuck to what you see on the outside whenever you go out. So we was pretty much comfortable, and I was in my comfort zone for so long living in South Carolina to the point where we had to move to Charlotte forcefully, you know what I'm saying, because my mother moved us up, and then when we got to Charlotte, it's like we seen everything that was going on in the streets, but then it was our turn to just hop out there because we was all by ourselves now. You know, you take us out our comfort zone, and then now we got to fend for ourselves. So that's when it really started getting rough, when we moved to Charlotte. But as far as living in South Carolina, we had a lot of stuff going on, you know, altercations with different hoods and stuff like that, but it wasn't too hard. Like, it wasn't no craziness going on.
Now, I know you said it's an open case, but did the case stem from you being in South Carolina or when you went to North Carolina?
I caught the case North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's after you had left the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Now, you said some people have it rough growing up. Would you clarify and say your upbringing was personally rough or not really?
Man, I would say not really. You know, everybody got different opinions about what's rough.
Sure.
You know, because some people might feel like, well, we grew up in gangs and we grew up in gun violence, and they might consider that rough. Then you got some people who feel like, well, we grew up in poverty and we grew up, you know, ours was mainly poverty, you know. We came from a background we ain't really have much. So when I say rough, it's really much of that. You know, we had fights and altercations and stuff like that with hood, but it wasn't never to the point where it was life-threatening like that.
I see.
At least to me, you know what I'm saying? It might have been for somebody else, but it wasn't never that deep to me.
What was your roughest moment growing up?
My roughest moment growing up, man, seeing my cousin not get killed, but seeing my cousin die. You know, not seeing it, you know, eye to eye, but my cousin dying, man, it killed me. It crushed me, you know? And ever since then, I've been cold, man.
What did he pass away from?
They was getting into some stuff, you know, some regular street stuff, and driving a car, and the car ended up flipping over on him. And I mean, he lived for a couple days, but eventually he passed away.
Now, sounds like you were very close to him.
Yeah, man. I lost a couple people, man. You know.
Was that the loss that you took the hardest?
That's the loss I took the hardest. That's
Why?
the loss I took the hardest.
What made that one so hard compared to the other people that you
Because the
lost?
other people, man, it's like, okay, I lost my grandfather and stuff like that, but you know, long live all of them. You know, I rest in peace, all
Sure.
that. But at the end of the day, it's like when I lost his cousin, long live Bubba, man, on everything. When I lost his cousin, man, it's like I felt like I lost a part of me. You know, that's who we was looking up to. All of our older people, OGs, whatever you want to call them, they was locked up. So that's who we was looking up to at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How were you notified of his passing?
Say that again.
How did you find out he had? Well,
Man.
he didn't pass away. He died days later. But how did you find out about the incident that eventually led to his passing?
Man, we found out about an incident, you know, through family calling. You know, family calling. Oh, this is what's going on. Then it was like, well, he gonna make it. He doing all right. You know, it was a point in time where he was doing better in the hospital. And then a couple days later, we thinking he about to come home, he ended up passing away. Man, I got the phone call when I was in Charlotte. You know, I was living in Charlotte at this time.
Okay.
When I got the phone call, man, I broke down.
What made the worst turn from if it was looking good in the hospital? What was the thing that deteriorated?
I want to say internal bleeding. Internal bleeding. Yeah.
Now, did you go to the funeral?
Yeah. I still go to the grave site, man. Like, whenever I go down there, I go to the grave site and I just sit there, you know, and I just made a song called Miss My Nigga, and I rapped about him in the song. And every time I listen to the song, I could be riding down the interstate, anything, man, I get in my feelings about this song, you know. I get in my feelings because it ain't even just him, man. I lost people to the system. I got homeboys locked up behind street shit. I got people in the grave behind street shit, so, you know.
What do you miss the most about your cousin?
What I miss the most about him, man, his demeanor. I miss his demeanor and how he had a good heart, you know. Man, growing up, man, this dude is like your bigger cousin, you know, and you watch everything he do and he shows so much love, and that was the problem. You know, he showed so much love and a lot of people took advantage of him. And that can make you go on a certain type of path where you lead to self-destruction, you know.
What's your favorite memory of your cousin?
My favorite memory of my cousin?
Yeah.
Man, when we started Bound Two Entertainment, you know, we got a lot of favorite memories.
But that one stuck out?
Man, when we started Bound Two Entertainment, we was in my grandma Lily's house, you know. It was all us, me, my cousin, his brother Butch, Jay, Trap, all these dudes. We was in the house. We like, man, we gonna start Bound Two. First, we didn't even add the ENT on the end. It was just Bound Two. We gonna start Bound Two. This gonna be a family thing. And then we was telling him about some outside dudes who we looked at like homeboys, and he was like, man, nah, man, F that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this strictly us, this family. So when he said that, I'm like, bet, you know, that's it.
You said this death turned you cold.
Turned me cold, man.
People look at death differently. Some people can look at a death and it can be motivating, it can be turned positive.
Nah.
And then the other flip, which is what you're describing, people can turn cold, negative, into a savage.
Man, all of that, man. When I'm telling you, like, the pain I felt, somebody had to feel me. And that's how I felt at that time, you know what I'm saying? And we older now where it can be to the point where we can look at it as motivation, like we gonna go hard for cuz. You know what I'm saying? Everything we do, we gonna keep his name alive. You know, we always gonna yell long live Bubba. But back then when we were just stuck in one mindset, man, I'm telling you, somebody had to feel me. Cause of the pain I felt. Somebody had to feel me, you know?
Somebody going through a death of a loved one. Everybody can grieve differently, everybody can cope differently, but any general advice you would tell somebody watching this interview going through a death of their own, maybe their first death and a close one, what would you say to that person?
I can't tell nobody how to feel, you know what I'm saying? But you lose somebody, man, all I can say is just let them live through you, you know? Let them live through you, man, because at the end of the day, they ain't never coming back. and all you got is memories at the end of the day. So let them live through you. However you used to feel about them, turn up, do what you gotta do, grind, hustle, whatever you gotta do. Just make sure that person living through you. Keep their name alive. That's all you can do at the end of the day.
Growing up, going to school, what type of student were you in school?
Man, elementary school, I was a grade A student. You know what I'm saying? Man, I had A's on everything. Everybody used to, man, I was smart. I was one of the smartest 3 kids in my elementary school. It wasn't until about 4th, 5th grade going into middle school when it started transitioning from, and I'm not even gonna say not even smart, but I went from doing my work to not doing my work. Easily distracted. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Did you rap in school?
I made my first rhyme in the 6th grade in a composition notebook. And I had a composition notebook. I wrote all my rhymes in, and back then, ain't nobody teach me how to rap. You know what I'm saying? I just was writing rhymes. I was studying beats myself. So when this round of time, I didn't even know what 16 bars was, what 8 bars was, 12 bars. But I done studied beats so long that I taught myself how much bars was in a verse, you know, how much bars was in a hook. I taught myself all this.
Ever battle classmates?
Nah, we never did battle.
Not into that?
Nah, not really.
Graduated high school?
Yeah, I graduated.
Tried college?
Nah, I never tried college, man. I graduated, and my assistant principal was like, you know, y'all leaving school, y'all graduating now. You gotta be smart because you get out there in them streets and you end up getting locked up. And man, right after I graduated, I got locked up. So it's like them words bit me, you know.
Was that the open case you talked about earlier?
Open case right now.
Now, a lot of people go to college. Was that ever a thought for you? Or?
Yeah. Man, to me, if I had to go to college, like, there's only 2 things I'm going to college for. If I ever had to go to college, it'll be for psychology or marketing.
Now, do you regret not going to college? Do you regret, I mean, you can go to college at any time you want.
That's why, I don't regret it because I can go, it's never too late to go to college. You know what I'm saying? It's never too late to go to college. So now I don't regret it because tomorrow I probably could change my mind and I can go try to get me an appointment set up, you know?
Okay, so you get out of high school. At what point from you leaving high school and then the open case beginning, how much time is in between that time?
Man.
A year, 2 years?
Nah, not even that long, man. Less than 6 months.
Less than 6 months.
Less than 6 months.
When was music taken seriously as a career choice for you?
This year. I want to say 2 months ago.
I see.
2 months ago. Man, I've been making, I ain't even going to say been making music, but I've been writing, you know, learning how to rap, all this on my own since 6th grade. Now, you talking 2017, man, we talking, I don't know how much years later. I want to say, what, a whole 10 years? Whole 11 years? We talking about a whole 11 years later, I finally starting to take it serious. But, you know, everything happened for a reason. Maybe it wasn't my time back then.
Now, somebody looking at this interview, let's say they have a passion for music, right? Let's say they have a passion for music, and let's say they're about to get out of high school, and they got to make the next choice in their life, right? Do you tell a person like that, go straight into the music, kind of like what you did in making that decision there? Or, and this doesn't have to be for somebody that wants to be a rapper like yourself. This can be any position in music.
Position.
You can be a DJ, producer, music video director, whatever. But you tell that person go straight into the music after high school's over, or do you tell a person like that if they can continue their education, do that and music at the same time? What do you tell someone?
I'll tell you to follow your dreams. You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever you got a passion for, just do it. Like it don't even have to be. You don't even have to wait till you out of school to do this. man, if you got a passion for it, do it while you in school. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to go to college to be successful in whatever you want to do. You don't necessarily have to pass 12th grade to be successful in whatever you want to be in life. Just whatever you got a passion for, go hard. Love what you do. Because my pops always told me, he said, add love to it, it'll grow. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being dedicated, you know.
You said you don't have to pass 12th grade?
You don't have to pass 12th grade to be successful. And whatever you want to do.
Some people might make a comment about that comment.
Somebody can make a comment, you know. It don't matter to me how nobody feel, you know, because it's happened plenty of times. It's a lot of people out here that never even graduated. That's millionaires, high school, that's millionaires right now, that's successful right now. You know, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe society say you might have to, but you don't necessarily have to.
Do you think at least having that high school diploma?
It's a plus. It's a plus. But a lot of people, you know.
That's kind of like the basics.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. That's basic education, you know. And that's, man, everything that you learn from 9th grade up to 12th grade, man, you probably ain't never even gonna use that shit again, man. So it's like, that's the basic, you know. That's just something to making people proud. You know, you make your family proud, or yourself, just because it's probably a goal. Let me graduate, you know, let me get up out of high school. But it's people out here that ain't even graduate. So when I say you don't necessarily have to go to school to be successful, I just mean like it's people out here that successful and never graduated.
Me personally, I don't know anybody that hasn't graduated at least high school and become a millionaire, and maybe you do. I haven't. I know plenty of people that have dropped out of college though, and you know, become very successful. Some of those names is Kanye West, dropped out of college, excuse me, and obviously you see how far he's been successful.
Yeah.
And somebody like Bill Gates. Yeah. Dropped out of college.
Yeah, he dropped out of college.
I don't know about the high school part. I'm just throwing that out there just for anybody that's watching. But I do know plenty of people dropped out of college. I personally dropped out of college myself. And people can see how successful I've been, right? But yeah, I just want to clarify for somebody that's making those thoughts.
That's for anybody, you know, I don't really care how nobody feel about anything because my mind is set straight, but man, you got the right intentions, you got the right mentality, you put love and passion behind whatever you do, you're going to be successful. Just keep grinding, keep pushing. You don't necessarily have to pass grade 12 or finish college. Whatever you got a passion for, do it.
What was your parents' reaction after you graduated high school but didn't didn't make a choice to further your education? Were they okay with that, or?
It was neutral. Because coming from where we come from, man, it's a lot of people in our family who never even graduated. Never even graduated 12th grade, not college, but basic education. It's a lot of people in our family who never even finished school. So, you know, you got some folks out there who they finished 12th grade and then their parents look for them to go to college. They looking for them to graduate. Man, my parents, man, just graduate high school. That's the goal. Graduate high school. That's the only way to make your people proud because, man, it ain't too many of my people that graduated high school.
Any jobs growing up?
Man, I had one job, man.
What was that?
I had a job at a warehouse called Big Warehouse. You know, the lighters and shit like that?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I worked there for less than a year. I started feeling myself, man. I started messing around in the streets, and you know, when you start seeing street money and then you gotta wait on a check, you start feeling like you ain't gotta wait on that check. So that's how I started feeling, and I eventually left the job.
Quit?
Yeah.
Was that a tough job?
Nah, it wasn't tough. I mean, it was a warehouse job, you know, but I made a relationship with a lot of people while I was working there.
Any crazy stories dealing with that job? Anything out of the norm?
Nah, I won't say too much crazy stories, but we used to get drunk though. We used to be drunk working in the warehouse, man.
Did people know?
Nah, not too many people.
Now, looking back dealing with the streets, I want to talk to you about that. That can be a very risky option. There's consequences that can come from that option.
Always.
There's violence that can come with that option.
Always.
There's jail time, prison time, incarceration that can come with that option. Why go that route?
Man, I won't really
knowing the risks that come with it.
You can know the risks, but whenever you going through situations, like, the risks don't even bother you, man. It's like you got a good side and you got a bad side. And the good side is not necessarily even a good side either. But, man, it's like, okay, you struggling. You know, your parents can't really buy you much. Well, you feel like, well, let me go sell this or that, make a couple extra dollars. You know, all you focus on right now is the money. You ain't worried about if you get caught up, you going to jail. You ain't worried about if somebody snitch on you. You ain't worried about none of that. You just worry about a quick dollar. So as far as when it comes to streets and what comes with the streets, that's just all a part of growing up. Like, you got to know this before you hop out there. Because if you don't, you just leading to self-destruction, man.
Was that unavoidable for you?
Unavoidable? I would say yeah, but I would say no at the same time because everybody can make their own decision. So I won't act like I had to do this or I had to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody could change their situation and their circumstances, but, man, it happened, you know.
Any regrets dealing with that decision?
Man, nah, no regrets at all. Because, man, if I wasn't in the streets, I wouldn't be who I am today. You know, I done seen so much, man. I done did so much. I done been through everything you could think of and back, you know, so.
Was it worth it? Was the risk worth the reward or what you got out of it?
It ain't worth it. Man, listen, this for anybody who watching this video. The streets ain't worth it, man, because you ain't gonna get, like, your grandma might tell you, your big homie or your OG might tell you, man, the game ain't meant for longevity. You know, you either gonna get two things, you gonna end up dead or you gonna end up in jail. So you got, like my grandma used to tell me, get yours and get out. I'm gonna get the same advice, get yours and get out.
When does one get out, though?
That's up to you. You know, you gotta learn when not to be greedy. You know, that's up to you. Cause some people might get in, and some people might start seeing some money they ain't never seen before. They might get greedy. You know, some people might get in the streets and fall back so short where they ain't seeing no money. They might start turning into snakes. Man, the streets create monsters, you know.
I always see stuff like this in movies where people are doing street-related stuff and then they get caught. And they always, man, this was going to be the last sale, or this was going to be my last ride. And that's when they get
It happened like that. It really do happen like that. And that ain't just in movies. Man, I got homeboys who locked up right now, prison time, ain't coming home no time soon, 10 plus years. I got homeboys right now that locked up thinking this was the last time. You know what I'm saying? This the last one. You know, I ain't gonna speak on the situation, I ain't gotta say their names, but I got people that's locked up right now.
We get the drift.
Yeah, I got people locked up right now, man. They was thinking this was the last one.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
Tough pill, man.
What do you say to somebody watching this? Let's say it's a kid in high school, just finished high school, and let's say they have one foot in the streets. They got to make the next decision in their life. Just finished high school. What do you tell a kid like that?
Man, what I tell a kid like that is what my grandmother told me when I had one foot in the streets, and when I had both feet in the streets. Get yours and get up. You know, you can't make somebody do something. You could want somebody to change, but they gotta want to change on their own. So me giving advice, you know, you can take what I'm telling you. You can take the advice, but it gotta be up to you to change. So all I can say is get yours and get out. It ain't meant for longevity.